Well, hey crafty friends, it's Hiedi Scott with DiyDreaming, and in this video tutorial we're going to do a whole bunch of really cool things, essentially to build a fall dough ball. Number one, we are going to redo some pretty ugly Dollar Tree pumpkins. Number two, we are going to make some leaves out of brown craft paper, sheet music, and dictionary pages. And three, we're going to make some feathers out of those same things. So I have lots to show you. As you're hopping on, say hello, let me know where you're watching from, feel free to sprinkle. And let's start with the pumpkins. Okay, I had two, I'm gonna move my dough ball. I had two pumpkins from Dollar Tree that I think they were $3 each, that were kind of this weird color. This is a pick from Dollar Tree also, or maybe it's from Dollar General, but they were a weird color, okay? So I wanted to use them, but I didn't want that color. So let me show you what I did, and then we'll do this one, and then we'll set it aside so it can start to dry. Okay, so first thing I did was I just painted one coat of my favorite color, Plaster, Waverly chalk, what does it say? Acrylic paint matte finish, no prep. Okay, you can get this at Walmart in the craft section, and they have a lot of different colors, but I love Plaster. This is what I have. And like I said, it started out kind of that gross yellowishy color, and so did this one. Okay, so now that the paint is dry, I'm going to show you, and we're going to do some of these little ones too, although they don't seem very dry. They're not. We may not do those little ones. I may have to do those later. So now that I have it painted, I want to add something interesting to it. And here's the deal with my dough ball. I started out thinking I was going to do something really bright and happy with orange and green. So I fiddled around all morning and I just couldn't get my idea straight. So I was making some pretty leaves, which I'll use these for a future project of some sort. And then I just decided, nope, that's not the color I'm being called to use. You need to use this glittering copper chalk paste. And did you guys know that you can use chalk paste almost like a paint? Well, you can. Let's see, where can I put these? So what I'm going to do, this is going to be the main color that we have going on, just little touches of it. I'm going to take a glob of that chalk paste. Chalk paste has a black lid, and these are from magnoliadiy.com. Okay, and then I have a cruddy chip brush that I'm just going to, I gotta move these, they are right in my way. So I dipped it, let me scoot back here. I put it on my paper plate. I'm pouncing some of it off, and then I'm going to start at the top, and I'm just adding some copper highlights. I want it pretty light. When my brush is almost completely dry, then I will go over the whole thing a bunch, and we'll get even more wispy. But I think this is really cool, because then I'm going to coordinate this color chalk paste with the stencils that we'll be using to create our leaves and feathers. Okay, so if you missed the very beginning, this was an ugly Dollar Tree pumpkin. We have a Dollar Tree Plus, and I believe this one was $3, and then this little one that I've already made over was $1.20, what are they, $1.25 now. You can go as light or as heavy as you want, whatever appeals to you. So here's an idea. Suppose last year you painted your pumpkins all orange, and this year you want white with copper, like where I'm going. You can just paint over them, and you can keep using the same pumpkins year after year after year, just painting over the top each season. I'm all about reusing and not purchasing, you know, more of anything if I can possibly do it with what I have. I don't know if you feel that way, but that's super important to me. I don't want to personally fill up a landfill when I could just get a little paint out and do something to my paint my pumpkins, you know, for the 3rd year in a row. We're never going to see the bottom, but I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Okay, and then I think I will do it a little bit heavier right here at the top. Okay. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to paint my stem with brown chalk paste. This is called Chocolate Brown. It's also from magnoliadiy.com. Stay with me because we're at the end. We're going to assemble a dough bowl. And I think I have the knack of it now, but when I first started trying to build a dough bowl, I couldn't really get it. So, okay, and this was an awful gold. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of this on here. It'll probably catch on the ridges. The whole thing doesn't have to be brown. I did paint this whole thing brown. I might come back and add a little white to that so it's not quite so harsh. Okay, good enough. Let me show you up close. Now we need this to dry so that we can do our leaves to it. But this is what I have. It was a really yucky, kind of yellowy or pinky cream like this. And so was the other one. And I just didn't like either one of them, but the size was perfect. So we'll come back to this. I'm going to set it, oh my word, I have too much stuff here. Let me put it on. Whoops. Oh, that was smooth, Heidi. This is my little basket full of what we're going to play with when it's time to do the actual bowl filler. Hey Cheryl, what you doing? Okay, so I showed you how to do this look. And it's just copper chalk paste on a chippy brush. Super easy. All right, then the next thing we're gonna do, let's put this over here too, is we're gonna create some leaves. And I used two different things for patterns. I made a bunch of leaves that were this big. This is a burlap leaf that comes in a pack of 4 or 5 from Dollar Tree. I kind of decided that I want most of my leaves to be smaller because this is a little too big in scale for my projects. But, you know, I'm I don't know, how do I say this? I'm kind of a lazy crafter. So if I can cut 4 pieces of paper with, I just traced this all at once, then I'm going to totally do that. And to give it some stability, I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue. When you're doing this, you don't want your leaves to have stuff like that. I think I had 5 or 6 pieces of paper there actually. Okay, and I'm using my low temperature hot gluing device that I always use today because I know for sure I will get glue on my fingers. Hey Dixie. Hi Kim, how are you doing? Okay, so, whoops, I'm out of my camera range again. I'm so sorry you guys. I'm having one of those days. My mom's having a terrible day, which has got me kind of stressed out. Okay, so I just want to glue these 2 together. Like these are veins. Because when we stencil, we'll need it to be a little bit thicker. This paper right here came from Webster's Third New International Dictionary and 7-language dictionary. I love how small the print is and how white the pages are. I got it at Goodwill a couple years ago for probably $4 or $5. So this is something, a dictionary is a good item to use. You may have something like this hanging out at home, or maybe you have a friend or a relative who has a whole set of something like this. But if it's just sitting on, you know, the bookshelf, never to ever be opened again, in my opinion, you might as well craft with it. So that is what, and I just used an X-Acto knife. Let me show you how that works. I just got a new one because the one I've been using before was terribly not sharp. Okay, so I'm just going to go up here towards the center of my book. I'm being very careful because I don't want to cut myself, especially not on live TV or a live video. See, and there you go. And then I have all kinds of paper that I can do whatever I want. This, by the way, this is the sheet music that I'm using. And I'm using this because it's white. And I think it's going to look okay. Not perfect, but okay with this other paper. And this is a complete conservatory method for trumpet. My friend Diane has a son who's in college now. But in high school, he played in the marching band. He played trumpet. So she gave me this book. And it could be brand new sheet music. It could be old music. You can find these at thrift stores. Okay. So if I was going to do something with this, I would either use this as my pattern to make leaves, or I would use this as my pattern. This is one of those Dollar Tree wood cutouts. Nothing fancy at all. And because I want to do multiple at the same time, why not? I'm going to fold my sheet music up. I really don't care which direction the music is. And I'm just going to get a pen and trace my little Dollar Tree shape. I think this scale is better for the size pumpkins and dough bowl that I have. This size is maybe a little bit too big, but maybe you have a bigger arrangement or bigger bigger pumpkins or bigger dough bowl or whatever. So, okay, so I just traced it. And then, where are my scissors? I'm going to cut it out. And I'm cutting out, I don't even know how many are here, but why not do a whole bunch of them at the same time rather than one at a time, especially a shape like this that has so many points. So I think you can see what I'm doing. Let's see how many are here. 8. There are 8 pieces that I'm cutting out, and I just traced it with one of these wood Dollar Tree leaves. All right. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you some leaves that I have decorated using some stencils and this copper. I have also used this metallic set of pins. I used this color, which, what does it say it is? It's kind of like a coppery color to me, and gold. Okay, and these are available at magnoliadiy.com. They're pretty new. I think they got these maybe 3 or 4 months ago. They're really nice. And they're chalk paste pins. Okay, so I want to show you a bunch, and then we'll move on and do feathers, because the process for feathers is a little different. Okay, so here is a big leaf. And what I did, isn't that pretty, is I used this Flower Power stencil. This is mine. It looks like heck, because I love it. I love it, love it, love it, and I've used it, gosh, at least 30 times, if not more. It still has a teeny bit of stick left, and it works just fine. It just looks kind of pretty. So that's what I did for this leaf. And then I did a whole bunch of little leaves that we're going to put on our pumpkin. And I also cut out from this. I forgot to pull this out again. This brown craft paper. Postal wrapping paper. This is awesome. I did iron it flat, and I cut out a whole bunch of this shape, but with the brown craft paper. And so I stenciled these, 3 of them. They're going to be beautiful. And then I just traced. I want to show you how to do this with the chalk paste, or you could use one of the pins. We'll do it both ways. These around the edges, because I wanted them to be look a little different. And here's a big one where I did that same thing. Okay. So let me show you the first way to do this. I'm just going to use this copperishy metallic chalk paste marker, and I'm just going to kind of go right around the edges of my leaf. And you can come back and do it a second time if you want it to be wider or thicker. This is an awesome color. Let's just finish it because we might want to use this. So I'm basically just tracing on the front of this small fall leaf with this, it's from the new metallic set of chalk paste pins. And if I had to describe it, I would say this is kind of a copperish color. I was going to do a mix of copper and gold accents, but I've decided just to do the copper. Although I have some stuff to show you with the gold. Okay, so you can see how quick that is. And it dries pretty quickly. So I'll just set it over here with this other one. Okay, another way you can create that look is with chalk paste. So I'm going to open up this metallic copper, glittering copper chalk paste in this little tub. And I'm getting a small brush. And I am just going to, where can I put this? Oh my word. I need a desk that's about 3 times this size. Okay, so I just dipped my brush in this. I'll take a little bit off and I am just going to go right around the edges. So whichever way you would want to do it. And by the way, you can do this same idea with any color as your accent. So maybe you want, I don't know, silver or all gold, or maybe you want blue. Whatever you want, you can create this look. See? How easy that is. Let's finish this one off. You might want to use it. And it does not have to be perfect. When I'm all finished, which we've got a ways to go, I have more to show you. When I'm all finished, if anyone wants my supply list, I'll tell you everything, you know, where I got the paper, where I got the burlap leaves, where I got the little wood leaves that I traced to create this size of a leaf. I know I get super frustrated when I'm watching a cooking show and somebody does a recipe that I think, ooh, I want to try that. And then I can't find the recipe anywhere or what ingredients were in it. That is irritating to me. So I try to always create a recipe or a supply list with all that info. So that is basically all I did. And it's really pretty. It really is. Okay, let me put these two away until they are a little bit more dry. Okay, so that's how I did the edging. Now let's do a stencil. And then I'll show you the next step, which is the next step is the feathers, okay? So I'm going to fold this shut. This is a piece of parchment paper, by the way, from Dollar Tree. Oh my gosh, I love this stuff. Every time I'm at Dollar Tree, I'm in the kitchen section looking for it. Sometimes they have it, and sometimes they don't. But it's just, it makes cleanup super easy. And I'll hang on to this. And I'll pull it back out sometime in the future. I really never throw anything away. Okay, so I'm going to show you stenciling on a music leaf and this dictionary leaf. That I have 2 pieces glued together. And the reason why I glued 2 pieces together was when I first was getting started, I discovered that this paper in this dictionary is super thin and it can have a tendency to tear. So it's a little sturdier when it has 2 of them together that are kind of glued. Okay, and we could use, there's two choices. Well, there's really a bunch, but these are the two choices that I like the best. This is Flower Power. It is awesome. And this one right here is called Filigree Leaf. This one's fast becoming one of my favorites. Let's do this one since I already have Flower Power. All right, where is my fuzzing towel? This is called a tacky towel. I really probably don't even need to fuzz because I've used this at least 15 or 20 times. But with paper, let me just tell you this, with paper, you just need to be careful. So I would do a whole bunch at the same time. Why not? Make sure that they're not overlapping. I mean, seriously, if you're going to do one, you might as well do 3. Okay, so I'm just going to take this copper, and I'm going to get a big squeegee, and give it a little stir. This is a beautiful color, you guys. There's also an awesome rose gold that's really nice. Okay, there's one leaf. Here's another. And here's another. And so I'm just going to put my glasses on. And without going over and over and over it, I'm going to quickly push it through the holes in my stencil. Paper can be tricky for a couple reasons. If you go over and over and over it, it can suck your medium in and then spread it all out, which with this copper color, I think even if it did that, that's going to be okay. But in general, with paper and wood, you just want to be aware of that. Okay, and I did nothing to prepare this paper except for cut it out in the shape that I wanted. I'm trying to remember where my leaf is. These took probably about 20-ish minutes to dry. Whoops. It does not matter. So let me throw this in here. And let's see what we have. Okay, with the dictionary page, I'm going to be really careful and I'm going to lift it off slowly. You guys, this is so pretty. If you have this stencil, you need to use it. It is gorgeous. Look at that. I will get close-ups of everything. And here are the music pieces. I'm just going to go really slow. There's one. Did I miss a whole area? I did. Let me just get one more squeegee in. Just do a little teeny bit more here since it's at the very top. Stay with me because we're about to assemble our bowl. And I just had so many things that I wanted to show you guys. Okay, so there's that one. I'm going to fold this in half. I'm folding it so that the non-sticky sides are together because it's big. And I'm pushing it under the water in my little yucky tub of water until I can get into the kitchen to clean it, my stencil. Okay. So, I'm going to hold this up. Really pretty. I might come back and add some of this. It just goes perfect with the 3 kinds of paper and with the colors of the pumpkins and all that. Okay, so I showed you what I had. Did I show you this pile? I don't know if I did or not. Here are the brown craft paper ones. Just have to outline, and then here's one that I stenciled. Here is some sheet music. A small and a big one, and these are Flower Power stencil. And here's a big piece of dictionary page that has just the outline and some more pieces. And this was my pattern. Okay, let's talk about feathers next, because feathers are how I got started on this idea this morning at about, I don't know, 3, when I could not sleep. I was thinking about, gosh, probably about 5 years ago, I made these feathers. And they've been sitting up here collecting dust ever since then. These have a little bit of gilding. This is actual gilding, but it's not real gold. This is from Maker Studio. If you're interested in that, let me know and I'll be glad to get you. So this is an oldie. And I just decided to just display it. Like, whatever. So I was thinking about that and thinking, let's do feathers. All right, and what I did, which you guys, I cannot share this. I'm so sorry. But I don't own the rights to these shapes, but I can tell you how to get there. And I can tell you what to do. I simply just printed it, and it had 3 different feather shapes on it. So I went to Pinterest, and I typed in free feather printable. And I got one that had 3 different shapes and sizes of feathers. Okay. And that's not big enough. Okay, so you need a front and a back for these. And I would normally have like 6 pages all together. And I'm just pinning it to my paper. I don't care if there's holes in my paper. You won't notice that. So let me cut this out quick. I'm cutting out a front and a back at the same time. I'm going to cut the shape first before I cut all this fancy stuff. Okay, and then now I'm going to do fancy stuff. Stay with me because I want to show you this feather. The ones I showed you a few minutes ago, I just made the feather look for it just by cutting snips. Let's pretend like this side is going to be plain for time's sake. Okay. going to snip in these bigger spots. This is what gives this the look. So I don't own the rights to this pattern, so I can't share it with you, but you can get it on Pinterest easy enough by just searching free printable feather pattern or something like that. And then I printed it on our little home printer here. And this one was even the right size. I didn't have to resize anything. Okay, so let's take it off the paper here. And I'm going to hang on to this because this is my pattern. And I have two pieces, a front and a back. And I didn't cut these very well. Let me just get that fixed. Okay. So then what you're going to do, make sure that your front and back meet. And I am going to take a pipe cleaner. I'm going to use a brown one. It could be whatever color you want. It's not going to show. And I'm going to do like that feather, that vein that goes down the center of a feather. I'm not going all the way down. And I'm just going to start here and push my pipe cleaner into my glue. And that you are going to get it on your hands when you do this part, almost for sure. So don't use a high temperature glue for this project. I don't want anyone to have a glue burn. I have had plenty of those and they hurt. Okay, so I'm going to cut this off before I get down to the, you could go all the way down if you want, it's up to you. And then it's just like a little piece of pie. I'm going to put glue on my pipe cleaner. Easy, easy. And then a little bit of glue. On the edges. I'll try to unstick my fingers. Oh, for Pete's sake. Okay. Try again. I don't know if my glue will even be sticky at this point. Yeah, it's sticky. Why not? You can come back and glue the edges a little better if you want. That's up to you. So then, because it's got a pipe cleaner, I can bend it however I want. And what I decided to do was to just trace it. So these are two that I have made. These were the dictionary pages, just like this. I did this one in gold and I did this one in copper. And we can do it either way, either by painting on the chalk paste in copper. I'm just going to do it with a pen for right now. So I would do the whole around it as thick as I wanted, and then I'm going to do the vein down the center. Your line is too thin in some spots, you can just go over it a second time, make it darker or fatter or whatever you want. So that is basically how I made these feathers. Did I do anything else? I don't think so. No. Okay, so I'm going to use these in our arrangement. Oh, and this is one also. This one I made, it's a little bit hard to see. I made this with the craft paper. And then I drew a bunch of stripes on it. I don't really like that as much, but I'll combine these three. Okay, let's dig into our dough bowl a little bit. And I may come back and paint these with that chippy brush. I don't know, we'll see. Word, this is such a mess. Okay, this dough bowl right here that has sparkles in it has had a zillion different arrangements in it, and it's Mud Pie brand. It's made to look old, and I got it at Goodwill, you guys, for like $5 or $6 several years ago. I was like, score! So you can build something fabulous with this. I want to work in odd numbers, and the first thing I generally like to do is put a little bit of paper shreds in the bottom. That kind of helps. It helps with things sitting the way they should. If I had brown craft paper shreds, shredded paper, that would be even better, but I don't. Okay, and then these are our two pumpkins. Let's spread this out a little bit more. And this was also a Dollar Tree pumpkin. This one here was really the inspiration for all the copper. All right, so I've got three big things. Now I can start adding, I've got a whole bunch of stuff out from the basement. I could add some little rattan. This is really an apple, but it kind of looks like a pumpkin. Or wood pieces. Or here's a little cream. We might do that one. And then these are gum leaf balls from my yard last year. Do you guys have these trees? They are nasty. Let me just tell you what. If you step on one of these because you're outside having fun, not paying attention, you are going to be so sorry. So I'm just going to throw a couple of these in here for a little natural element. And I do have some pine cones, but I think they're too big. This is the perfect size. Okay, so now I have I need one more big something because now I have 4, and to me that doesn't look right. What do we want? We could do, I tell you what, we will add one of these. I will add it after the fact, after I get a chance to paint it with my, brush with that copper. So don't fret that there are 4 big things in here. That's just going to be just fine. Okay, and then I'm going to start adding some of this stuff that we made. And first thing I'm gonna do is my pumpkin. And you guys, I'm just gluing. Look at these shapes, aren't these cool? I had those for a long time. I have a whole basket in the basement of just fall picks and filler and stuff like that. So let's just start. And I kind of want to alternate. What do you guys think? Isn't that pretty already? One more over here, and I'm just going to do one of these that just has the outline. I went a little crazy and made way more than what I would actually need. But you guys, look at that pumpkin. Isn't it pretty? I love it. Love it, love it. And let's add something to this little one. Here's that other design. It's not fully dry, but let's just do that. Let's do one more piece. This is going to be so pretty. What do you guys think so far? If you're liking where we're heading, do a this or a this. And tell me, because I would love to know. Okay, and then I have a couple of these larger leaves that I am just going to poke in right here. These are my gum leaf things. Just this way. And last but not least, let me do something with these feathers. And I think what I was thinking I wanted to do was to put them off to this side and bend them. Okay, let me get these paper shreds out of sight. And there you go. What do you guys think? So, the pumpkins were an ugly color. They were like this color. I painted them with my favorite paint, which is this Waverly Plaster from Walmart. And I'm going to come back and finish one of these little ones off with the same technique, where I just used a big chippy yucky brush and some of my copper chalk paste. So I will do that, and I'll plunk it in somewhere. Then I showed you how I stenciled the leaves, and it turned out so pretty. This is the Flower Power design, and this is the filigree leaf. They're both awesome. They're both super versatile too. You can use these all year long. I could make this look Christmassy just by adjusting the color of chalk paste or the shape that I'm doing. I could do a Christmas stocking and use red chalk paste, and it would be reminiscent of Christmas. I could make a Christmas tree and use green chalk paste. So super, super versatile. So that's how I did that, and then I showed you how you can outline the edge of a leaf with just a little brush and dipping it in your chalk paste. Or this is a really good set that I would encourage you to think about. It's called, I think it's called Metallic. There's 8 chalk pins in here. I use this copper color. But there's green metallic, pink metallic, red metallic, blue, silver, purple, copper, and gold. And I can get links for everything, so let me know if you would like me to do that. The leaves and all that business were made out of old dictionary pages and an old book of trumpet music, and then my roll of brown craft paper, which you are going to need to iron it because it's going to want to roll up. So I usually just put my iron on cotton, no steam, and just go over it for a couple seconds. And that's it. What else do I need to tell you? Well, let me know if you want my full list of supplies, and I'll include everything. It's going to take me a few minutes to get organized. I'm not sure where I'm going to put this, but for saying that most of it is from Dollar Tree. The gum leaf balls are from my yard last year, and I did bake them at like 160 for 2 hours to make sure there were no living critters in them. Anyways, for saying that I mostly had all this stuff and just pulled it out, redid the pumpkins. I think it turned out pretty, and I'm super excited. You can put it at my house, Gloria says. Where is your house? I'm in Georgia. So I think we're probably too far apart for me to walk over or drive over and set this in your house. Is it awful to use an old hymnal for cutting pages? No, it's not. Okay, so here's my perspective on all of that. I am never going to cut up a Bible. God's word is way too serious, in my humble opinion, to do that. So I'm not going to craft with any pages out of any Bible, but you can, and at some point we're going to paint covers of Bibles. That won't hurt them. But sheet music, hymnals from church, Reader's Digest books, trumpet music, all that stuff can be cut up. And unless the hymnal is like 100 years old, a lot of times churches nowadays they have a screen where the words are, so you don't need to turn to page 102 for whatever song when you're doing your worship. So a lot of churches are giving them away. You can also, Susie has this great tip, which I'm going to read to you. If you don't want to cut an old hymnal, you can always print off pages from Pinterest, and if you go to my website, which is magnoliadiy.com, there's music. There's Amazing Grace, and it's sheet music, a stencil, and another song. Old Rugged Cross. Is it Old Rugged Cross? I can't remember. But anyway, so you could create it with some chalk paste, and it's really pretty. So you can either print it, you can stencil some plain paper, that kind of thing. Wow, 10 years of piano. I bet you have a lot of music. A lot of stuff that could be repurposed or have something wonderful done to it. I'm going to leave this on the little stake until I'm done adding these copper little things to it. So do with this, that's a thumb, or this, that's even better. Sprinkle, sprinkle if you liked this project and you think that your friends and family and connections would like it. Feel free to ask questions. Let me know if you want my supply list. Catherine says the same thing, that she would never cut up a Bible. Well, you know, some people do. So really, we each one of us just have to make our own decisions. I know a lot of people really hate cutting up books. And I get that. Let me show you this right here. I totally get that. I have some dictionary, an encyclopedia from my Mamu. She was my grandmother, and she was a teacher. And it sat in a shelf for 15 years until I saw something on Pinterest. I pulled it out. I've been crafting with it like crazy. And every time I use it, I think about my Mamu. So it's just personal preference whether you feel comfortable or not. But this is an old Reader's Digest. And when I picked this up, I picked it up because it was blue. Really pretty. But you could do these crafts with these kind of pages too. These are just a little bit yellowed, and I was going for white for my project. If your paper is very old, it will crumble. So you have to. I won't throw out a Bible either, Liz. I have. We have a few that belong to family members that are just precious to us. And they're falling apart. Most of them are little, so I can't see anything. Not even with my reading glasses, but those are precious. I would not ever get rid of those. Hopefully someday my children will want some of that and will want my Bible with my life written into it, hopefully. Anyways, okie dokie. Well, don't hesitate to ask questions. After I'm finished here, I will get some good pictures. I'll put those here in these comments. I'll get my supply list all fixed up. And then I'm going to sit down and start answering questions. And thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you later.